I'm working on an overambitious world-building project, fleshing out my world called Trelassian. Keep watching to follow along with my project and learn how to build your own. Today I made a weird magic rhino with an ant mouth, and if that doesn't sound like an eccentric world builder, I don't know what does. To begin, I do not sketch. I blot out a loose silhouette and refine it a bit. Don't spend too much time on this, especially if it's just concept art. Then I turn my brush to a 20% opacity or so and just block in the darker parts, then the lighter parts. And I just go back and forth between this, forming the entire shape of the face. Don't worry about being remotely precise, just shade and highlight until you get the general shape you want. Also, don't forget to select the area of your blob and shade on another layer, so that you don't need to worry about being precise, and you can always access the mask again. As you work through this, you'll want to slowly lower both the size and the opacity of your brush. As far as what exactly I did, I began by adding rough highlights to the head and upper horn, then the lower horn, which led me to the brow that I quickly established. I then lightened the mandibles and muscles around them. I loosely darkened the area where the eyes would go, then brought the brow into the nose. Afterwards, I added chitin plates on the nose and did the same to the brow. I continued to define the shape of the face and add details, just lowering the opacity and brush size as I go. I did have to end up adding some size to the lower jaw, but tweaks like that only take a moment, so it was pretty quick. Now for a bit of lore. There's a race called the Emberborn that originates from the deep Shadowcross, whose citizens are slowly spreading to particularly arid regions of the Overlands. Over time, they domesticated Ignocerite, the plural of Ignoceratus, and when they surfaced post-fall, the Emberborn brought the Ignocerati with them. After running into further issues with the Caithrain, more on them in the future, and eventually the humans, the Ignocerati became war mounts. They naturally have chitin plating and large horns, however most of their skin is leathery. In general, they are somewhat similar to a rhinoceros. These features lead to extremely resilient creatures, perfectly suited for harsh climates, such as the Burnt Plateau. Another notable feature is the mandibles made of bone similar to its horns. This did help it develop as an omnivore, leading to its size due to being able to consume a more concentrated energy source. It is, however, not necessarily an important feature to the beast, instead being an evolutionary byproduct from distant ancestors, who used such features to tunnel through the deep Shadowcross. While they have no natural elemental affinity, the exposure to an infernal cyst, something that all domesticated beasts of the Emberborn go through, will develop some level of flame and soul similar to the Emberborn themselves. This can result in specially bred Ignocerate that have extremely powerful abilities, as well as giving them the opportunity to become true behemoths. More on that in a future video. Then I moved on to the body, blotting out its silhouette, then shading the chinks of the beast, eventually finishing the top armadillo-like armor. Eventually I moved onto the tree-like legs and underbelly. I didn't find it necessary to go too detailed with the body, but make sure to completely define the shape. After doing a bit of coloring, I added the eyes and a glowing effect and I was done. Enjoy the montage.